break.
Hi,
But let's
everybody.
discuss.
Whoa. I said let's go for break, and then I said if you have to go, go now. Before we
It
started
was
talking
like
Right,
a
about
I'm gonna
this,
get a drink.
2 second
nobody
pause.
moved, and I said okay, since we're not
There's
moving,
like
let's talk about
a
this.
1 second or 2 second pause. I am not dunce. I cannot leave my chair at that speed. The
Okay,
Max 7 dunce.
so welcome back to Witcher Bloodletting Session 11 Bloodlines Part 3. So you went outside. So I imagine there was a little bit of chat. So we're going to kind of do this in a little bit. I'm going to have Messi and Tal are outside having a conversation. When you guys feel it's appropriate for him to walk in, or after a bit, if you feel it's appropriate for this to be the time Bastion walks out, you feel free to interject. And then more or less after your conversation's done, Bran comes out at the very tail end. So you two chat. Everybody else the other two are still inside at this moment. Go, Talon and Messi.
This is a little absurd, Televest. I don't know. I really don't think.
Have either of them even been to Redania?
I can tell you the source hasn't. Or if he
I mean-
has, it's probably been no different than the other planes he's jumped through.
Can you imagine attempting to get a non-human on the Temerian throne? I wouldn't let that happen. Neither would all the other Temerians.
Like,
Let alone Redania.
I understand trying to keep him alive, and
I don't
alive,
really
but-
understand that. One person versus 30 people.
he's
He doesn't deserve to die, but neither do they.
him being alive is doing more harm than good, sadly.
But that's not the point. The point is that the Bran and Bastion seem to think that we'll be able to make some sort of difference with freedom fighting to put him on the throne. It will simply be labeled as terrorists.
Yeah, that's not good for business.
At best, we create a civil war. At worst, many people die.
Yeah, we could have another dwarf cleansing.
I just don't see it being possible at all. There's no way for him to really be confirmed as Radovid's child.
So what do we do?
I don't want to work with the witch hunters either, if I'm honest.
I feel like right now it's one or the other. I don't know. Walking away is just gonna make it go on longer.
Out of game reminder, then please continue. They did offer a way for you to just walk away from everything. So you had, blue, green, or purple, or blue, green, or gray.
I think he was talking more about the situation at large rather than.
Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys remembered that.
Yeah, yes, we could leave, but there's going to be a resolution one way or the other, whether or not we're involved.
Yep.
And they're both bad.
Yes. They're not both bad.
I mean,
They won't affect us if we're not there. I'm not willing to kill my friends, and I'm not willing to be hunted down by Redanian witch hunters for the rest of my life.
Bran and Bastion are going to do it, right?
No, they're not.
They're going to do it.
What, you think they're just going to go ahead and follow through with helping this half-dwarf take the throne?
I honestly really do, yes.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's any amount of convincing we could do that could change their minds.
We could take them for a little walk up to Redania.
Telebest, I think the best option here is not to pick a side.
And for that, you need to be freed from the contract. So why are you against it?
I've been working out this little plan in my head here. Let's step back a minute. Would you like to see this half dwarf as a king?
I don't think it's possible, whether or not I would like it.
And I agree with you, and I think that if he were to take the throne, it would cause more harm than good. Is this valid, you think?
I agree.
Pretty much around this time, I'd probably be walking out.
Okay.
Finally come to your senses, Bastian.
Oh, I was just going to ask if you were okay with us picking up this charm.
Oh, not more magic.
Sorry, Bastion, but I don't really have any gold on me.
Oh no, Bren would cover it. It's supposed to cover wounds.
Okay. Whose
Well,
wounds?
Just, I don't know who we would give it to. It is the party's funds after all, and we wanted to consult with you guys first.
Wait, we're sharing gold?
Well, Bren just has a bunch of gold, and we're all pretty broke.
We're sharing gold. We're sharing gold. From Bran's purse. That's the party fund.
I mean, everyone else keeps wasting it, so you know.
I don't really see a problem with that. But that's not the point. Bran, Bastian.
Yo, Bastian.
We both begin with B's. B for bitches.
Yeah. That's why we're best boys.
Bastion, how serious are you about the Dwarf King? And I say that very hesitantly.
Dwarf King.
Yes,
because he's neither and can never be either.
I'll be honest. I don't think he will last long. But I think if he's shown to be legitimate,
Wait,
there's
so you want to put him on the throne just to die?
No. I want to put him on the throne to change people's minds.
You want him to be a martyr?
When he is old enough to understand it.
Jesus, Bastion.
If he is willing.
This
I'm
is
not
your
just
best
going
plan?
It's the only way to change people's minds and make people more accepting of non-humans.
Honestly,
I think going too far in one direction is just going to make them go back in the other.
how do you think the Redanian public will feel when their nobles tell them that the Scoia'tael are invading with the attempt to put a dwarf, and bearing in mind he will look like a dwarf to them, put a dwarf on their throne?
If
They don't
things are
follow the
done-
eternal fire. There's no link that they can use to leverage. The bloodline is null and void.
If things are done correctly, connections are made, the right people are talked to, there will be no need for an invasion. I want to handle this completely politically, if possible.
It's not possible, Bastian.
It is possible.
I imagine at this point in time, he's like, it is possible. You guys are all kind of like shaking your heads at one another, like, because you're at an impasse. Like, there's just clearly no decision that can be made right now with the information that you have on hand. Everybody's just like, we all disagree on which team should win the NFL this year. So this is when Bran comes walking out, probably putting something around his neck and tucking it into his shirt, or maybe he did that right before he walked out, tucks it into his shirt, and comes walking out, but has like a bit of a haste to his step. Bran, you step into the
Walking?
conversation.
No, he would be running.
Yeah, so running out.
Guys, gotta go.
Why?
Now,
What's
you know that egg?
What egg? The ones we had for breakfast. My God, were they
The
poisoned?
one that can turn people to stone, possibly, if it hatches.
I don't know that egg. What egg are we?
We gave it to the dwarves.
The basilisk?
Yes, let's go. Bastian, I got you a gift on the way. Let's go.
Okay.
Wait, what?
We're heading
What-
to the gate. We need to leave now.
Can you explain
This
what's
is
going on a
funny,
bit
you know,
more?
Explain on the way.
If the egg that we gave to the dwarves hatches,
Uh-huh.
things go poorly for them. Let's
dwarves?
go.
I think they can kill a hatchling basilisk.
Yeah, I don't really see the
Malvoon
issue.
comes walking out the house behind you guys and says, "I'll meet you at the gate." And he actually moves swiftly off. Like it's not quite a jog, but it's very purposeful step.
He seems to be in a hurry too. Maybe this is a valid request.
I wouldn't say it without valid reason.
All right, then I guess we better get moving.
So you guys go and grab up your horses from the stables and whatnot from there. Remind me quickly, when you guys bought the horses, I know PHB horses are 75, the military saddles, and you got a bunch of those are 20, and bit and bridle are 2. Did you guys pay full cost, or did I end up giving you a discount when you purchased those?
I think there was a discount.
Bastian did it. How are you doing?
Was it 85 each or something like that? What did I do?
We bought it in
like
bulk,
that.
and we did a good persuasion, so we did get it pretty cheap. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I
though.
got like a special horse.
So,
Bran,
well, yeah, I
Bran
did that.
charged us through the nose.
I want to say instead of charging you the 97 each, I think I charged you 85 each. I want to say. So,
remember.
just to cover something that would have happened prior to this engagement, you would have sold back that horse that you just bought from that guy. You know, and this is like a couple weeks. This is like a week and a half later or whatever it is, because you don't need it anymore. You just got a horse from another realm that you have advantage when you make handle animal checks with it, or animal handling checks with it. So obviously you keep the other realm horse that you've like rolled a couple natty 20s with, and like more or less it's like confused, and so it's just like has bonded to you with that experience there, Neil. So you can thank Bran for that. You
welcome.
try to sell this back. I imagine Bastion would have gone with you again. Bastion, quickly make me a persuasion check, and then we'll get back on track.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
Real quick, when we have like as we're hurrying over to the stables or whatever, I'm gonna just like kind of grab Talabas on the shoulder, whisper in his ear, "There's gonna be a line soon, and I need you to pick a side and pick the right one."
Shit.
Okay, and Tal, you gained back 70 gold. From selling that back. So you gave back
Oh,
all
he's
the
just
stuff.
gonna fucking waste it all on cheating again.
So you do have 70 more gold in your pocket, okay? Or it could go to the party fund. Everybody else actually has gold, so that probably goes in your pocket. So even if there's
I don't have a
isn't
lot
much.
anymore.
Yeah. So you guys get on your horses. So you go and get your horses from the stables. I imagine there's very little bit more information that you give out from there. More or less, you just fill them in of what you know. And everybody else has their curses, fucking wizards. This is why we shouldn't trust them. Blah, blah, blah. You know, that whole bit. And Bastion being like, oh, this sounds like it's going to be a fun one. I hope everybody's okay. and so that's kind of how that goes. So
got him. Nailed it.
You guys get your horses and head back to the northern gate with your horses there. Now again, this is kind of like later morning where you were meeting up with Malvoon and heading out. So by the time you get there, if it was a normal ride, it would be nighttime. But we'll worry about that in a second. When you get to the gate, he's standing there and he has like a long bit of like cloth like wrapped up, and because Brandon said, "I have a gift waiting for you. I got a gift for you on the way." So he's standing there by the gate, literally by the gate, as you guys are showing up.
Let's not slow down. Let's just run him over. Just go.
It's not in front of the door. He's next to it. So you guys come riding up, and of course, like, as you guys are slow down to greet with him, he comes walking over and walks over to Bran. And walks over to... Yeah, he walks over to Bran. My apologies. And he takes this wrapped up bit of cloth, and he holds it up for Bran to take. And he's like...
I'll grab it and like feel it. It's like hold it for a second. It's like, this is indeed quality.
Says, Godspeed, and for whatever it's worth, may the warmth of the flame, keep the chill away at night. And steps back for you guys to start riding forward. And you can handle that sword bit in a second. Unless anybody else says anything. Okay, right as you guys start to go off, he actually says, Bran probably just starts moving his horse. He's like, and he kind of like calculating, goes, Bran, and he reaches into his clothes as he did before, and he actually produces one of those 4-leaf clovers, and he says, "You might need this," and hands it to you. No charge right now.
Thanks.
And then steps back so you guys to rip ass out of there.
Very helpful for his friends, isn't he?
So,
Hey!
now you guys are making your trek there. The question is, do you just take a ride there as you normally would? Obviously not just chilling. You gotta, you're not just going at an easy pace.
Slap the butt,
But
We're
do you want to
speeding it.
make good speed, or do you want to make like we're going all in?
We want to make really good speed.
Like the best speed we can.
Cool.
Like that shit sells for a lot. You don't sell it on the street. You sell it in the high-class clubs.
We want to make some
Okay.
high-quality blue-colored speed.
So
It's got to be blue.
you guys are going to
We'll call it Blue Lightning.
you guys are all
Boom.
going to make me
Call Lightning McQueen.
handle animal handling checks. I'll be back in 1 second while you all roll. Neil, don't forget your advantage.
I
Do
get
I?
advantage.
Sure.
Wait, no,
Lead.
I don't do that.
It's because my horse loves me. That's
I
why
get
I rolled
plus
2
1
ones.
animal
Hey.
handling.
Hey.
Hey,
I didn't die.
Bastion might.
How do I add my +1 animal handling? It's just there.
I did. We
You
don't
got a
have
plus
you-
1?
Wait,
I
how do
have
you?
a +1? It's from the horse that I have.
Oh, nice. Just add it in your brain.
All right.
6.
I have
Yeah.
a 6.
Is there a way to apply that? Give me 1 second to remember these character sheets. I work with so many different roles.
There is, yeah. Ollie did it for me. Somewhere in the cogs.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So here it
it's
is.
under abilities then.
Yeah, yeah.
got you
If
right
you
here.
go to the cog, animal handling, wisdom
I
plus.
just no, just became a 10.
You can just equip an item that boosts the stat by 1, right?
No, not the whole stat, just that one skill.
Oh.
Okay, so did that just upgrade itself, or did you already have a +2? Bastion?
I already had a +.
He already had a plus.
So you want to do me a favor? I'm actually gonna be super nice here. I'm gonna allow you to re-roll because
Oh
it
my
wasn't
god,
on there
like
correctly.
rolling with advantage.
What?
Look at that.
What? Fucking bias.
So you guys actually all do very well. And so because you all succeeded, it was just a DC of 13. So
So roll for Malboon.
no, he's not going with you.
God damn it.
He
Oh,
can't
no.
leave the city. He's
Brandon
like a reverse
Brand
vampire.
failed.
Brand failed it.
Brand failed.
I
just
got an
realized that.
11.
Yeah.
Hey.
So that being said, give me 1 second. I gotta do this.
Is my
Ryan-
sword the blood stuff, or did he not do that?
Just
No,
Mahakam.
no, just the Mahakam.
No,
I
he
know
did
he-
not have time for that
Yeah,
yet.
he offered it. I just wasn't sure if he just like.
Bran hasn't mentioned that to you yet.
I know. I wasn't saying that in character.
Wow.
Oh, rolled off that 15 onto that sad little 7. So your horse actually gets tired because more or less just the way you're pushing it, you're just not a particularly good rider. So like you don't choose the best paths, you don't like know how to use its energy the right way. You're more or less just pushing it at the wrong times, right? So your horse actually ends up getting rather tired on the way. Because it gets tired, it slows down. So you have 2 options here, team. You can either say, fuck that horse, it's just a fucking horse, and you can push it further to make sure that you still make really good time, or you can slow down. If you slow down, just you get there faster than you would have, but not as fast as you'd like. If you choose to push the horse even further, more or less, you're going to roll another animal handling check, no disadvantage or anything like that. And then if you roll poorly, and I roll a Constitution save. If I roll poorly or you roll poorly or both, bad things can happen.
You're
Yeah,
also welcome to
it's just
hop
a
on
horse.
my horse if you want.
Doesn't quite work like that. And I do apologize. I just realized how hungry I am. I'm gonna eat an apple, but I'll mute it for stream, just not for you guys.
Over here eating apples and shit.
I think I'm gonna just keep pushing it. This is a matter
It's up
of
to you, man.
urgency.
Depends on how much you like dwarves, I guess.
Never mind. Don't worry about it. Unfortunately, you try to push the horse, but in doing so, the horse actually it's tired and it's misstepping and whatnot. The horse ends up actually breaking its ankle.
Oh no! Ah, horse screams.
Yeah, which I mean, it gets you most of the way to where you need to go. This actually is about where it was that you had met up with a little bit before we had met up with what's her name the first time? The
Broker.
Brelka, thank you. I'm so bad with names. With Brelka, I was supposed to click. The first time. So the horse does let out a scream. Unfortunately, you can slow way the hell down to bring the horse with you, or you can just kind of like tether it up or whatever it is and hope for the best when you come back this way.
Yep.
Or you could heal it with your magic and not let the poor beast suffer.
You can do
That's
that
a
too.
good point, actually.
So, as I was saying beforehand, it's a broken ankle. Setting the bone is a little bit different. You can actually straight up just use a first level spell. You don't have to use second level or anything like that. But you have to roll me a medicine check.
Can I assist with that?
You will bring that disadvantage to a normal roll because none of you guys are particularly good with animals. It's not what any of you have a background
None
in.
of us is a goddamn vet, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Sure, I'll expend one first level slot.
and your medicine check, because both of you guys are doing it, whoever's better at the skill can make the roll.
I have
I've got a
one.
+3.
Go for it.
So you roll with normal, and you get to just spend your spell slot, okay? So actually, it's not that you said it poorly. It's not that you said it well. It's somewhere in the middle. Like, you actually are able to get back on the horse and are able to continue riding with it, which is wonderful. Again, this is that like slower time, not like the perfect speed that you wanted to get to, because like stopping, healing it, getting back on, having to be a little bit ginger. The horse is perfectly able to continue riding or whatever. It's just I do apologize, but the exact opposite of what's his name there, of Bastion. As long as you're riding this horse, you actually have a -1 to your animal handling checks. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
So you can apply
I'd
that
hate
same
the
stuff.
rider that let that happen to me.
Yeah. So, but again, like you could always switch out a horse in the future if you needed to. Maybe trick somebody into buying this one so you can switch it up or whatever it is. In the meanwhile, just because it's not
I'll just
set
poof
perfectly.
to another fucking dimension and get one with advantage, because fuck everything.
Yeah, that's all to the die rolls. So I rolled D100s for that one, and Neil got I'm not even joking, he got a natty 100. So I was like, ooh, if he plays this out well, I'm gonna reward him. So all right, so you guys get there. Now when you get to the camp, clearly something has gone awry when you get to the camp, because no scouts met you on the way. Nobody stopped you on the way. And when you get to the actual camp itself, the people aren't there. However, there are literally 5 people in the actual, like, what's it called, cave itself. And then another, you guys get a Witcher sense, and another 2 people outside the cave itself that have completely turned into stone.
Well,
Who gave them the egg?
He says the first thing you notice is you come across like the 4th or 5th body of stone.
Well, I didn't know what it did. I was
so
hoping,
we blame Leonard then.
frankly,
Okay.
I was hoping they'd be able to use it.
I don't think that I necessarily believe that.
You were
And,
all there when I did it, right?
Bran,
Yes.
can you protect us from turning into stone?
Shit, I'm gonna have to grab a book.
No.
Like, I know I can't protect you against it actively, but
And any spells that would protect against that are well above what you could jump into, I think, with your...
No.
So what spell are you thinking of?
What about bless?
Oh, the bonus to saves? Okay. So an important thing to note is if he does do Bless, which is not technically outside of his range because we're playing Witcher, it does not stack with if he uses the whatchamacallit?
Lucky Clover.
Lucky Clover. It's kind of like the same modifier-ish thing.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Otherwise, you just do that, and every one of us uses a Lucky Clover, and we're unkillable.
No.
That's what you do when you fight a beholder.
Or just die. So
Yeah,
what he's suggesting is you cast Bless, the first level spell, which just means you got to use that
Yeah, I
class
know.
ability. So
Well, obviously, you're welcome to not to, Rick. That's me out of game telling you the spell that would work.
So
does
please,
how
Bessie.
does this basilisk turn people to stone, Brand? Did he explicitly tell you what
He
kind
would've-
of magic it is?
He would have filled you in before, just while he's continuing looking, so you're good,
Okay.
Rick. He would have filled you in before that he said that, something that could turn people to stone with a look was kind of like what they were going for.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of
With
like
a
what they were.
look.
Yeah, that's kind of like what they were
Oh.
shooting for. With their combination of blood
Stone-
magics and geomancy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we do it blind.
I love it.
Are you
can't-
trying to get us killed as well?
I can't fight something blind.
Oh, you know what? Frankly, it's probably too late for them anyway. We could just head back. It's probably all right.
What are you?
so you would rather leave them with the mess that you suggested we create?
So important thing to note is this only applies to. Oh shit! I shouldn't have closed that. This only applies to the Witchers, not to everybody else. He's not doesn't necessarily have a bad idea. Let's assume this thing actually has a heat signature for one reason or another. Let's assume it actually has a heat signature. If you were to blindfold yourself so you can't see with your eyes, but you drink a cat potion, you would actually be able to see its body heat through your blindfold.
We would have to spend an hour.
Didn't they try to make it like a snake reptile cold-blooded thing?
They did try to do that, yes. But while it is cold-blooded doesn't necessarily mean it perfectly blends in with the surroundings to infravision.
Oh, that's true.
But also, like,
Just makes it hard
we
to
would
find.
have to spend an hour to make a potion unless we already have them.
Did anybody have cat already prepared on their persons?
No, we don't have anything prepared.
Okay.
These witches are
I think
I've got
Bastion has one prepared, yeah.
I've got Thunderbolt and White Rashfords.
So you've already got everything you can be prepared. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's fine. So let's get back into the moment then. You guys walk in, you see the corpse, the two that are frozen outside, and you go check inside, and you see that they're frozen in there. Just really quickly, roll me investigation checks or perception checks. Your choice, everybody.
Okay. Really quick, I was not trying to say that we should just leave. I was just making a point that, I'm coming up with ideas and you guys aren't. So I was like, if you guys just want to leave, we can leave.
You just putting it on the table so we don't feel bad.
Did you say investigation or perception?
Or perception, yep.
I didn't realize they were interchangeable.
It depends on the moment. Depends on what it is that you're doing. So more or less, as you guys walk in, Leonard is the kind of person, and Brandon the kind of person that immediately as I start like searching around for details, where the other two are like looking, staying on lookout, and trying to see what they notice. So, like I said, very quickly you find all 6 corpses that I already described. It's actually Leonard who's quick and rushes into that back room where what's his name was.
Zadal.
Zadal.
You were calling him Zudhai the entire conversation with Mel.
Oh, because the L looks like an eye. It's so small on my screen over there.
I wanted to say it, but I was enjoying it too much, so I didn't say it.
Zadal. So when you got rushing back there, one of the things that you notice is, unfortunately, he's one of the 6 corpses. Most likely the first one to have transformed.
Is he a corpse? Are we sure he's a corpse?
My apologies. I say corpses. One of the statues. And you can quickly make out that that's his detail. And you can see the bits of egg that are on the table in front of where he usually sits. Clearly, he had taken the egg and placed it upon the table and was watching the thing hatch. And that's where things went awry. But more importantly, like, while you're in there and kind of like looking about that room and taking in those details and like looking at all the others, the other 5 people are unnamed people. They're not important. It's not like Bastion's lover lady is there or anything like that.
Oh my God.
No broken Witcher.
What Rick is able to determine from looking about and is that it seems as though they've probably left this area within the last like hour and a half or so. Like, had you been just a little bit sooner, you may have gotten here just in time.
If chat hadn't fucked me over, you mean?
But you unfortunately they left probably within the last hour and a half or so. So you might be able to track the people, but this creature, that's a good question. Even though you only rolled a 10 for your investigation, Leonard, you're really good at picking up tracks.
Brand's much better at it.
So you're passive. You're really good at picking up tracks, and so you start like noticing like the footprints or whatever that exist. It's not like there's a lot of dust here, but you notice like little claw marks because the thing apparently has little talons, and they easily leave marks in stone. So little claw marks of where it like jumped off the table, and then you catch like where it landed on the ground, and occasionally here and there where it like stepped on the side over here, maybe was trying to avoid chaos. And
So
you think you might be able to track this creature, but it won't be easy.
And I don't know if you want to include that in that investigation roll or in another one, but can I tell its appearance based on its claws, like what kind of body type it has or how big it is, that kind of thing? If it's abnormal in any way?
Sure. You're actually able to make for me a nature check for that. This is where I'll ping and remind chat, though, of course, no pressure on these sorts of things if you don't like using them. This is why we have that other ability. Oh, you rolled well in nature anyway, so you get some
What
information.
sort of horrible creature is hatched and instantly starts turning things to stone?
Good question.
A Gorgon.
The creature that you're able to... What you're able to discover, first and foremost, is because, the egg was decent sized, and the thing was kind of like curled up into the egg. So it actually is a small sized creature. So you're thinking about probably the size of, say, a 25-pound dog, but very low to the ground. So maybe like a corgi is probably about
What
its
size
size.
dog can I get for 25 pounds?
Huh. So probably about the
quid.
size of a corgi, maybe a little bit longer than that, and definitely has a tail on it as well. It clearly has clawed feet and whatnot. That's what you can get up. It's reptilian. You know what I mean? So you can kind of get an idea of what it might look like from there. But the thing that throws you off the most, the thing that kind of like surprises you a bit, and this takes a second, and Bran comes over and looks things over with you, and you guys agree that at a spot where it looks like it had jumped off of another area, not that initial table, it looks like it might have 6 feet. Three sets of legs. All right, so that's what you guys discover. Bastion and Talabust. What you guys are looking about and seeing is you actually see signs like of people not far off. You see signs of like where things were like dropped as people went running. You find that over there. You also hear a screech. This will be Bastion specifically. Hear a scream in the woods. The scream is hard to place. You can also roll me a nature check.
Uh-huh.
You honestly think it's the scream of a deer in the woods. You're not sure how far it was, but definitely over 200 meters. Oh, sorry, so definitely over 100 meters. Math wrong. You're not sure how far it is. So
we should go.
Yeah, I'd point out that noise and I'd be like, there was a noise from that direction. The creature might be that way.
Tal's gonna go ahead and start sprinting then in the direction of the noise.
Bran is sort of stuck looking at Zodal, like in his statue forms, just like, he's like studying it and like muttering to himself.
So you guys make your way, or at least you start heading in that direction. I imagine others follow. I do want to say before you get too far, yes, the creature's getting away. Yes, it's hard to track. Obviously, the smaller tracks are, the shorter tracks are, the easier it'll be to track it, and the less damage you can do if you get to it quicker. Realistically, if you cared to, if you wanted to stop for an hour and make cat potions, you actually could theoretically do that and track it afterwards. You've already done a long bit of riding today, so short rest isn't necessarily the worst thing, but it's also not necessarily the best thing because it makes things more difficult. Your call. Chase after it now or short rest. Call the shot.
It's 100 meters.
I've already started running.
At least 100 meters. Okay, cool. That answers the question.
It's at least 100 meters away, approximately. Around that, we'll say, I don't know, 100 to 300.
Yep.
It's just killed a deer potentially, or is attempting to make a kill. There's a good chance it will stay in the same position for at least a little while, or at least be following a trail of blood from
Not
it.
to mention that the tracks will be very fresh and easy to follow.
So we
and it
should
might
just
make more sounds.
put it down now.
Okay. So you see that as you guys go racing after this thing, trying to track it, roll me a survival check. I can't remember who's our tracker here. Is it Bastion?
I've got a 6.
I think I usually am.
We should probably have like a pop out, like a 5e pop out card of who usually does what, so we can click like a button and it shows like.
I think I
jobs.
usually do, if not messy.
Okay, so why don't you roll survival with advantage? Because obviously the party's helping you. You and Tal are rushing forward. I honestly thought it was Neil, but
Yeah, I've got a 6.
oh, it is Neil. Neil should be rolling with
my
advantage.
bad.
Let's change that. Neil's roll with advantage. Oh, and it was a bad roll, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's better.
Okay, so you guys quickly rush after it, chasing it down. Excuse me. It is nighttime. That's unfortunately what had happened because you're traveling and whatnot, and there's no light sources that you're using. So you're just using the light of the nighttime, so the light of the stars in the skies, the moon and whatnot to light your way. So you go rushing, but luckily it's like an open area. It's not like you're under tree cover, right? So you guys are rushing through the area. This is light obstruction for you, Neil. You're going to be rolling with disadvantage for like perception checks and whatnot. So you easily are able to track this thing, no problems. You guys are clearly the ones in the front. The other two chasing after you, behind you, not far behind. Could you roll me perception, Dunce, and you roll me with disadvantage, Neil?
I would actually shout at Bastion before we set off towards the beach. Like, Bastion, come here for a second.
Yeah. What's?
So this probably would have been while you were chatting before you heard the scream and ran off, just for canonical purposes. Yeah. Shoot.
He takes out the sword out of his robe and it's like,
oh, let's actually go way back. This actually would have been done on the ride. So, so I mean, it's kind of weird doing this like hodgepodge puzzle piece RP. But so at one point in time, while you guys are like riding off, maybe as you like slowed down to cross the stream, maybe you would have like handed across because you're not like holding on to it while you're riding hard.
We'd actually probably do it when we were tending to my horse and we're like done with it. It's like, Bastion, before we go.
Yeah.
And he takes it out of his rope and he's like holds it and like, part of the bargain for riding to their aid. This fine blade.
Okay, so you can clearly tell it's Mahawken steel. Mahawken steel is a little bit different than regular steel in its color and its coloration. It's actually much like how steel, like actual steel, is very bright and shiny. This isn't full, tungsten, but it has like a few shades darker than your typical steel does. So your regular person would never be able to tell the difference, but a trained eye could tell that the quality of blade this is. And beyond that, you can actually, when you're looking at this thing, regarding it, like as you're riding or whatever, you actually see just at the base of the blade above the pommel, on both sides of it, there's a mark put into it, and the mark that's there is actually the mark of the craftsman. It's not large, these kind of marks don't tend to be large in general, but it's actually particularly small because he didn't want to like make it super well known that he was supporting the Scoia'tael. So it's a very small mark that's put in there that shows, like, you got Witcher eyes, that shows that it's done by that craftsman that we had discussed beforehand over in Craig. What's his name? From Fezzik.
Talon.
Yeah, Talon from Fezzik's Smithy. So
before you walk off, he sort of like pulls you back. It's like, Bastion, because I consider you a friend, if you were to ask for my blood to infuse it, because that is also part of the deal. If we were to deal with this creature, he will infuse the blade with blood for you. Because you are my friend, I would accept if you were to ask me to infuse it with my magical blood.
I would be honored to use the power of your blood to slay my foes.
That's badass.
Wow.
I'm glad we puzzle pieced this RP moment. That was cool.
Blood friendship.
Okay, so Bastion and Tau, you guys actually both rolled really well. You guys come upon an area where you literally see a deer frozen, like literally the way it's like reared up. It's a buck, like reared up and frozen as stone. As you come across this thing, you can clearly tell the way it's like holding itself there. If someone were to bump into it or a heavy wind were to blow by, there's no way it's going to be able to hold its balance for too long. It's like if you had a toy or like an action figure and you're like, okay, I got it standing, but barely. That's like reared up and completely turned to stone. But that's kind of catches your eyes and slows you guys down enough that you kind of skid to a stop and allow you to see just past that, so you didn't run too close to it. See just past it, there is another deer that's on the ground. And the deer that's on the ground is being consumed by the basilisk, by this creature. So again, this creature's in length is about 4 feet long, from the tip of its nose to the base of its tail, and then goes for about another 1.5 feet beyond that. So makes it about 5.5 feet long, but still isn't that large overall. It's actually rather slender. You imagine that maybe just by looking at it, the size of its claws and whatnot and its feet, that it'll eventually bulk out and be rather like girthy, but it's actually kind of this, because it was just born, this like almost sickly little thing. It does, as I described beforehand, 3 sets of legs, front, back, and a middle set. And it's like hunched over this thing, and it's like tearing in, like with a claw, it kind of like pulls back a bit and like puts its mouth in there, like rips out a piece, and it's like chewing on it, much like we've all seen lizards eat before. You can't really tell the color of its skin because of the darkness of the night, but it is definitely like darker, like more neutral tones, so you can really pick up. But most importantly, does the creature hear you approach? That's a good question. Both of you guys are there first. Have to roll me stealth with disadvantage. The DC is not very high though, so.
Fuck!
Never mind. You know what the funny part is? The DC was literally 5 because you got the heads up perception check.
Can I witch sense that one away?
Well, you guys can both. Either of you can witch your sense if you'd like.
I would like.
The problem is, does it work even though it's a 1?
Yeah. Ones aren't natural failures unless it's attack rolls or saving throws.
Are you gonna waste
Per D&D rules, always.
I think we waste 2, Bastian.
Yeah, we're wasting 2.
Sure.
So what is that?
D6s?
Yep.
Roll.
Is keeping stealth worth it?
Yeah.
Well, it's that or we both get turned to stone.
Yeah.
So you guys actually pull up short before the thing and don't get noticed by it. And you pull up short, probably about 50 feet away from where the creature is when you come to your stop. Now, because you guys are able to kind of like throw up a hand to stop the other two don't even need a roll. They can clearly stop back like a good bit. Now, if you want to stop, we'll call it 90 feet away, you don't have to roll. If you want to make your way up to where those two are, only about 50 feet away, roll me with advantage on your stealth check. You two decide right now.
90 feet works for me.
Okay.
I'm playing it.
Just gonna see whether I can grab a plaster.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna sneak up with my advantage stealth because my modifier is higher than the DC.
There you go.
Okay. So you
crit
just
fail.
roll it for me. Wow,
9.
that's funny. You also rolled a 1. So let's get these ones out of the way. So you easily roll, get past there, get close enough up to where they are. So you hang back the 90, they move up much closer. You guys can see it's hunched over this thing and eating it, and you can see the one that's frozen in stone adjacent to you. I imagine everybody's planning on attacking. So the way
Can you
that
check Discord real quick, though? Just let me know if I'm stupid.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I miss something? I don't. Discord doesn't automatically pop up while I'm streaming.
I know, because you're doing this.
1 second. No, it wouldn't because you have to. Yeah. So moving on. So you guys are clearly going to be able to get a surprise against this creature, right? So that being said, why don't we have everybody roll me initiative really quickly to start this off.
Bran would have mentioned to you if we get into a fight, let me fire first.
Oh shit.
I rolled a fucking natty 1. You guys rolled natural 20s. It's already a surprise.
It's already over. It's already over.
Oh my god.
That's insane. It's over.
That's crazy. Okay, so
Oh, did I roll a 20? Nice.
Yeah.
Important things to note. One, the way 5e works, this is like an alternative rule, not something that's canonical. If you catch somebody off guard, they get the surprised condition. This is actually something I originally found in a tweet from, I think, Jeremy or Matt Mercer or whatever. And not Matt Mercer, the real Matt Merles.
The real Matt.
So the surprise condition, well, one works for the company, one doesn't. So as a rules creator. So the surprise condition, the way that works more or less is they still roll into initiative, but they don't get to take any actions that first turn. They can still use a bonus and reactions or whatever as normal, but they don't get to take any actions that first turn. But then I also rolled a natty 1. So that means I get no move or standard round 1, and I get no standard round 2.
Oof.
That's painful. And it's going to start off with Leonard.
We rolled double 20s, so we get double turns, right?
Leonard and Bastion. You don't know that you get 2 turns. It's that in that first round you get 2 actions.
But we have double attack also, so we can technically do 4.
That's 4.
Yeah, it's crazy.
4 attacks each. Okay.
I'm also the bottom of initiative. This is crazy talk. Okay. So why don't we take a quick break?
I think we will kill it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna squash this.
Oh yeah, killing it's not the issue.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back.
It's killing Bran afterwards.
See everybody in just a couple of quick minutes, okay? All right. Bye-bye.